Welcome back for another Chicago Warhammer Fantasy Battle Report, and in today's game I had a game between the Wood Elves, Skaven, and my Orcs and Goblins. It was originally supposed to be Wood Elves versus my Orcs and Goblins, but my brother showed up and, well, hey, let's just try a three-way game, and we decided to go for it. We actually ran out of time halfway through the game, so we played for objective points. You get an objective point for killing the general, you get an objective point for keeping your general, and you get an objective point for taking over specific locations. So we separated these locations by having 3 rocks. We all split up where we wanted them, and then we scattered them around with the scatter dice. And you'll see them put out in a second. So we rolled to see who got what side, and my brother got the short end, which is he got right in the middle, in between both the Wood Elves and the Orcs and Goblins. So he has to take on both, and he actually got this the day before we played another 3-way game, and he got stuck in the middle again. Okay, now my Orcs and Goblins, they have 5 Savage Orc Boar Boys, 5 regular Boar Boys with the General, and the General has the Armor of Gork, which allows him to have impact hits. I have 5 Goblin Wolf Riders with short bows and fully decked out spears and shields. I have 20 Night Goblin Archers, 22 Night Goblins with spears. I have a level 3 Orc Shaman, and as well as a level 2 Night Goblin Shaman. And I have a Rock Lava, Doom Diver, and a Spear Chukka. My Orc Shaman has the Foot of Gork, Hand of Gork, and Gaze of Mork. And then the Night Goblin Shaman has Itchy Nuisance, and I forgot what the other one he had, but that's about it. I also have a Mangler that kept falling off the hill, so we moved him a little bit forward. Now for the Skaven, we have 20 Slaves, we have 2 Rat Darts, we have a Doom Wheel, 4 Rat Ogres with the Packmaster, a Warplock Engineer level 2, a Plague Priest level 1, Queek with Warlord. The Warlord has a Fellblade, and then we have about 25 Storm Vermin. He also has a 20 Clan Rats. In the 20 Clan Rats, he has a Warplock Engineer with the Doom Rocket inside. We have a Warp Lightning Cannon. We have 3 Jezzails, which he doesn't have the models yet, so they're proxied as Goblin Wolf Riders. We have a Hell Pit, which is proxied as a Orc Chariot, and a Warp Fire Thrower that's hanging out with Storm Vermin. And I believe that is it. And for the Wood Elves, we have 3 characters that are hanging out in that unit of Glade Guard that's hiding in the woods there. The first one is a Lord. It's a Spell Weaver, level 4, has the High Magic, a Talisman of Protection, a Moonstone of Hidden Ways. We also have the BSB. The BSB has a Hail of Doom Arrows. And then we have a Spell Singer, level 2, with the Lore of Metal. Also, we have 2 units of Glade Guard there. One has Command and Swift Shiver. The other one has Starfire Arrows. And behind them we have the 2 Eagles. And then on the flanks we have the Way Watchers that are right there. And then we also have 2 units of Wild Riders on the other side. And 2 units of Scouts that were still coming on in. So Vanguard, I had the Wolf Riders move up to the flank of those Way Watchers. And then he had his Wild Riders move up to the flank of the Skaven in the middle, and then he had his Scouts come out in the sides there on the flank of the Storm Vermin. So this is how it works. The first movement, everybody gets to do their moves, starting with the person who got the middle, then who has the highest roll, which would be the Wood Elves, then the third would be myself. So the Hell Pit moves first, goes right into the flank of those Goblin Wolf Riders that were going for the Way Watchers, and then his Doom Wheel moves, but just barely, didn't get too far, and then he moves up the Rogers and Slaves, Clan Rats, and Storm Vermin. They all just move on up a little bit further and advance. And I believe that was it for Storm Vermin. And then we're going to go ahead and go into Wood Elves. The Wood Elves, the Way Watchers enter the building just to shoot out the windows. And then he goes ahead and moves the Wild Riders into the flank of the Clan Rats. His other Wild Riders and the Scouts, they just move on to the side of the flank of the Storm Vermin and the Plague Priest. And then I believe that was it for his movement. Going into my movement, my Orc Biggins decide to fail their animosity, and they're just going to go ahead and charge. And they move up just a piddly amount. They fail their charge. But since I was declaring charges, I might as well declare my charge with my Boar Boys. My Boar Boys actually go into that unit of Slaves right there. And so they connect, which my general killing slaves is just overkill. I sent the Mangler up, and then I moved the Night Goblin Spears up to release the Fanatics. One of the Fanatics goes right into the Doom Wheel, and the Doom Wheel it actually does 5 wounds, which is ridiculous. It needed 5s and 6s to wound, and sure enough, it got just a ton of wounds right on that Doom Wheel. Way to go, little Gobbo. My other Night Goblins, they wheeled just a little bit so they could shoot, and I believe they had a hard time shooting and didn't get any real shots off. And then my Wolf Rider goes off to the rear of the Scouts, and it puts the pressure on. So for Magic Phase, everybody gets 1 dice roll for their magic, which right here shows, for example, we all got 5 power dice and all of us got 4 dispel dice. The person who goes first gets to use 1 spell and then goes to the next person, and then he would get to use 1 spell, and then so on and so forth, and we keep rotating until eventually everybody gets done with their spells or dispels. And I actually like it this way with the Magic Phase because it's actually a little bit more fair, I believe. So first move, my brother goes ahead and does Skitter Leap, and he was under the impression that he could move the whole unit. We didn't argue it much because we were on a time constraint, but yeah, I called him out on it, told him he can't move the whole unit, but he did. He moved the unit in front of the Glade Guard, and then my turn, I went for the Foot of Gork, and I went, I believe, on the Rat Ogres, and I did a wound, but it drifted, and it only attacked 2 of the Rat Ogres. It smashed 1 really nice, and then the other one, I believe I only got like 1 wound on him. So killed 1 Rat Ogre right off the first magic. And then for the Wood Elves, he does Fiery Convocation, which is I think on a 5+, he wounds. It goes off irresistibly. So he does it on this whole unit. It's a remain in place spell. Does it on this unit that teleported right in front of his unit of Glade Guard, and he gets a bunch of wounds. And it actually, he got a lot of armor saves on it, as you can see in this picture right here. But it still killed, like, I have the exact ones right here. It killed 13 wounds, 5 armor saved, and then 8 died. It's a remaining place spell, so it stays on them for next turn, which he just wants to get off. So here's where things go really bad for the Wood Elf player. He rolled a 4 on the miscast chart, and that is large template with a strength 10 hit to everybody underneath the template, and it hits most of his unit. It kills 9 Glade Guard right off that blast, and then it goes ahead and hits the General and the 2 heroes. The General actually was lucky enough to get a ward save. One of the heroes did not get his ward save and took a wound, and the other hero did not, or passed the ward save. And then the Eagle behind him took a wound. It also hit 3 Storm Vermin in the front rank there, and they all took a wound. One of them was the little brother with the Fellblade. And then the Rats took a panic test, and they failed. Even though Queek and his Strength in Numbers had a 10 leadership test, they rolled a 12, and they panic and they fleed away. And I guess that's what those rat bastards get for teleporting where they weren't supposed to go. So that was the end of the Magic Phase. We're going to go into shooting next, and in shooting we have the same rules apply, where basically one person gets to shoot with any unit he chooses, and then passes to the next person, they shoot, and then it continues to rotate around. So right here we have the Warp Lightning Cannon. It takes a shot at the Glade Guard. It actually gets a good bounce right into the middle, but it's only a strength 2, so it does no wounds. The Night Goblin Archers go ahead and they shoot at the Doom Wheel. Only about half of them were able to shoot. They had about 10 shots. Out of the 10 shots there was 2 hits, but the 2 hits only got 2 double ones, and the double ones do nothing. Come on, trying to get rid of that Doom Wheel. So these scouts over here, the scouts try to shoot at the Plague Priest, and then we found out that the Plague Priest has a toughness 5. I mean, that's a pretty high toughness. I mean, come on, my Orc Shaman should be tougher than the Plague Priest, and it only is a toughness 4. But yeah, they failed to wound after they found out how tough he was. And then the Warp Fire Thrower goes to shoot at the unit of Glade Guard behind the fleeing Storm Vermin, and he actually tries to go for a lucky bounce, and he got a bounce at an 8, but he needed a 10, and it just actually scorches one of his guys that's fleeing away, and he kills that one rat that's running away. The Rock Lobber goes next, and it aims for Queek. Even though Queek is running with his Storm Vermin, I'm trying to get the General killed because, yeah, I actually want to get an objective point from somebody in range. And it drifts off and does nothing. His Glade Guard on the left goes ahead and shoots at the Jezzails, and they are able to kill one of the Jezzails because he found out that the Jezzails had that huge armor save with that giant shield that is not on any of these models, but it will be very soon. So I go ahead and I play devil's advocate here, I go ahead and take out the Wild Riders and I kill 4 out of the 6 of them, and that way it'll keep them tied up in combat a little longer with those clan rats. And then the Glade Guard here goes ahead and shoots at the Warp Lightning Cannon, and they got a bunch of shots off, but it has a high toughness, of course, because they're shooting at War Machine, and they actually still got 2 wounds off. And then his Doom Wheel goes at a strength 10 to shoot at the 3 closest targets, but unfortunately the 3 closest targets get pretty lucky. They're actually the Fanatics, and one of the Fanatics dies, which is the closest one, and then the other 2 are still alive. And then we have the Spear Chucker shooting at the Doom Wheel, and BAM! Finally got that Doom Wheel out. And you know, I mean, hit it with Fanatics, hit it with Spear Chucker. Those goblins know how to destroy a War Machine. And this is another legal move that my brother went ahead and did. Even though he's tied up in close combat, he shoots the Doom Rocket. I mean, I don't know how he let this go through, but I wasn't really paying attention. I was trying to take pictures really fast. He shoots the Doom Rocket, and it gets a really good lucky shot and hits the middle of that Wood Elf unit and blows up. It kills a couple more. Let me see. It kills about 10 more Glade Guard, and then the Way Watchers that are in the building go ahead and shoot his Warp Block Engineer, and they just kill him. I mean, they got multi-shots going off, and there's just way too many wounds. That guy only had 2 wounds to begin with, so he's dead. And that was about it for shooting. It was a really fun shooting round. Next up is close combat, and basically the way close combat works is the player who got the middle, which is the Skavens, they get to choose which combats are going to go first, and he goes ahead and picks the Slaves versus the Boar Boys, and right off the impact hits, the general took out about 6 slaves already. And then the Boar Boys, well, the slaves go ahead and attack next because they have a higher initiative, and they do absolutely 0 damage to the Boar Boys. The Boar Boys go ahead and finish off a couple more slaves, and then they panic and they blow up. And there's not even any injuries. The Boar Boys decide to overrun, and they fail to get to the ogres. The Hell Pit goes next, and the Hell Pit rolls a 1, which I believe is Flailing Fists. I'm not sure about that one, but it goes ahead and does a shit ton of wounds. 12 wounds onto my Savage Orc Boar Boys, and he kills every single one of them. I mean, there was like, I think I tried to ward save, and I ward saved a couple, but it didn't even matter because he just destroyed them. And then he goes ahead and panics the goblins, and he chases them off the board, and yeah, Hell Pit's ridiculous. Then the Wild Riders are going next, and they go ahead and they kill 1 clan rat, and then the clan rats attempt to attack back, and they do absolutely nothing. And then now it's turn 2. So the Rogers take advantage and charge into my Boar Boys with the general, and then the Hell Pit moves up towards that building with the Way Watchers, and it actually kind of scares them where they actually want to leave the building because they don't want to mess with that Hell Pit. The Storm Vermin, they failed to rally, and they keep running. And that Warp Fire Thrower sitting there, he actually passes his panic. He's like, I'm going to sit here and burn shit. The Night Goblin Archers, they decide to wheel up just a little bit, and then the Spears here, they decided to fail their animosity and charge into the closest unit, which brings them right into their Fanatic, and the Fanatic kills 5 of them, which it could have been worse, but it's still pretty funny. The Mangler goes ahead and moves up. I should have done this sooner, but the Mangler moves up to the side of the Wild Riders, and it starts to put the pressure on over there as well. So as the Wolf Boy, he decides to move on up, and then Orc Biggins move up, and the remaining Fanatic just kind of swirled over and went to the middle of nowhere. And then the Wild Riders charge the side of the cannon, and then in the next picture here, you can see on the bottom left there, we have the Rat Darts closest to that objective point, and then we have on this objective point this eagle with 1 wound remaining on him, sitting at this objective point. The Wood Elf player, he moves his scouts to face the Mangler and the Wolf Rider, and then, like I said, the Way Watchers were scared of the Hell Pit, so they decide to move out of the building. And then we're going to go on to Magic Phase, and in the Magic Phase we got 8 Power Dice, and we have 5 Dispel. And the first thing that the Skaven player goes ahead and does is uses them to dispel the Fiery Convocation, and he got 4 6s, so it's Irresistible Dispel. to get that off. The Wood Elves decide to put Earthblood on, and I decided to be a jerk and dispel it, even though it really didn't have anything to do to affect me, but I didn't want him to be super buffed up by the time I got over there. My Night Goblin Shaman goes ahead and does Gorkle Fix It on the Hell Pit Abomination, and that goes off. And then the Wood Elf player does Searing Doom, which is a magic missile, and he goes ahead and hits those Jezzails and kills them off. And then I believe I forgot to move my Orc Shaman to be closer to do the Foot of Gork, and that kind of just hit me, so I didn't get to do any more spells. So the Wood Elf player does Transmutation of Lead, and I believe he actually failed that spell just straight out. Shooting, Skaven pretty much lost most of their shooting, so Rock Lava goes first, and he aims at Queek, and it goes and drifts off again. Actually, it misfired, and I got a 4 on the misfire chart, which does absolutely nothing. And then the scouts try to kill the wolf, but they get pretty much piss poor rolls, and he got ward saves on whatever went through. So I go ahead and I shoot the Doom Diver at the other scouts before they shoot my wolf again, and I kill 5 out of 6. And his Glade Guard goes ahead and shoots at the Plague Priest, and that guy with his toughness 5, but 1 wound went through, got him. He still has 1 wound left. The Spear Chucker goes ahead and shoots at those Wild Riders because they were the best ranked up opponent, and I believe I only killed 1, or I failed to shoot, but didn't do much on it. The Way Watchers go ahead and they kill the rats that were by the objective points, and they just wipe out that whole unit. They got with those multi-shots and everything, and right now I believe they might be the closest unit to the objective, maybe the Wild Riders, but either way they got the objective for that right now. And then my Night Goblin Archers, even though that one guy is facing backwards, they go ahead and they shoot at the Hell Pit Abomination. Check that out. 5 6s to wound. 5! Oh my god, they got him. They took him down, got him down. I believe he only has like maybe 1 or 2 wounds left. And then that was about it. Oh well, the Warp Fire Thrower goes ahead and shoots, but it misses. And or just couldn't really reach, so he decided not to go for it, so goes into close combat. At this time we actually kind of have to wrap things up, so we said we'll go through turn 3, and so at this time I'm taking less pictures, so there's a lot of things that might be missing. The Rat Ogres go ahead and they attack the Boar Boys, and they actually do 3 wounds on my Boar Boys, and I only do 1 wound back on a Roger, and I fail the combat resolution. I flee 5 inches. They chase me 4 inches. Almost took my general, but I'm an inch away. And there's a picture of them closing in. The Wild Riders go ahead and they kill 4 clan rats. The engineer kills 1 of the Wild Riders, and the Wild Riders actually the Wild Riders still won the combat, and the clan rats tried to reform, but they failed their leadership test, so they stay facing that way. The cannon, the Wild Riders here kill the cannon, and they just blow it up, I believe. And yeah, there it is. And then that was it for close combat that turn, and now it's turn 3. So right now, it's the name of the game is getting to the objective points. The Hell Pit decides to charge through my Night Goblins with spears, and he gets in. The Rat Ogres continue to pursue my general. My general gets further away, and which kind of sucks because now I can't charge him with those the Biggins. The Way Watchers move closer to this this objective right here, but my Mangler, when I get to move, goes right on top of that objective, and he basically has to shoot me down, or else I got that point. And then I move my Night Goblins here to move a little bit closer to the Hell Pit, release the Fanatics, and my Fanatics go right through it, and they kill that Hell Pit. He only had like 1 wound left, and I think I did like 4, and it just, yeah. And he did not revive. He got dead. He stays dead. Oh well, good for him. Good riddance. Magic phase. We got a shitty magic phase. We only got 3 power dice and 2 dispel, and so we just all tried for 1 spell. Skaven get off Bless of Filth, which gives them poison attacks on the clan rats. I go for Gaze and Mork, which is a direct damage spell from the Shaman. The Shaman's actually hiding by the Rock Lava there, but he gets 1 wound on the Rat Ogre, which, whatever, it's a little bit of damage. And then I believe the Wood Elves failed theirs. The Warp Fire Thrower goes into shooting phase and burns that eagle with 1 wound left, and he actually gets the bounce right on top of him, and he kills that 1 bird. The Spear Chukka goes next, and he goes for the Rat Ogres, and he kills off that 1 Rat Ogre that was on the corner, so there's only 2 Rat Ogres left. And then the Way Watchers go ahead and shoot at the Mangler, but the Mangler survives, only took 1 wound. And I'm going to go for my lucky shot again on Queek. I go for the Rock Lava, shoots, and it drifts off 10 inches to the middle of nowhere. The Scouts go ahead and shoot at the Wolf Rider, and the Wolf Rider survives. And then finally the Doom Diver goes for the Way Watchers and kills off 2 of the Way Watchers. And then going into close combat, this Wild Rider and the Eagle, well, the Eagle charged in, I forgot to mention that, but they kill 4 Clan Rats. And then the Clan Rats with their poison attacks kill off that last Wild Rider with an actual poison attack, which was pretty funny. And then that was pretty much it. That was the game. We pretty much ran out of time. It would have been a different game if we would have gotten a couple more turns in. But this still took about 2 to 3 hours, and we just didn't have the time for it. As you can see, all 3 of us have our general still alive, even though mine actually passed the rally, so he's still on the board. The Wild Riders here earned this objective point here, and then my Mangler and my Fanatic took over this objective point. They're not going to take it. And the Fanatics over here took this objective point, which who would have known the Fanatics and the compulsory monsters are holding objective points. But it was a great game. It was really fun, and I would be glad to play a 3-way match again. It is such a different game. If you guys like this video, or if you guys saw something that I did not point out was already a mistake, please just tell me. That's how we're going to learn how to play this game even better. And if you guys want to see any kind of matchup, please just put it in the comment section. I would like to, I'm trying to get as much variety on here as possible. And please like and subscribe. It is I'm having fun doing the battle reports, and I will be putting up more as I get to play those games. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care. Peace.